Operation Enduring Freedom, Afghanistan. NATO has been waging war against the Taliban for 11 long and deadly years. Over 60,000 U.S. soldiers have boots on the ground. The A-10 Thunderbolt is there too.
The A-10s have been an integral part of the operation since the beginning.
Lieutenant Colonel Paul Zurkowski was commander of an A-10 squadron in Operation Enduring Freedom.
We provided pretty much 24-hour coverage with the A-10, where we had airplanes airborne just about all hours of the day and night.
When Marines and Army troops are overwhelmed by the enemy, they want just one aircraft, the A-10.
What we got here is the A-10 Thunderbolt II, more commonly known as the Warthog, or just the Hog by those who fly it.
The Warthog. It's the ultimate gold standard for close air support.
Close air support is protecting troops on the ground. We work closely with those troops to make sure that they're able to effectively operate safely on a complex battlefield. And we got some great firepower to help them do it.
Great firepower is the A-10's specialty. The Warthog is basically a gun with an airplane attached.
The A-10 gun is called the GAU-8 Avenger, or just the gun by A-10 pilots. It's 21 feet long. It's the heaviest gun, automatic cannon mounted on aircraft. It weighs more than 4,000 pounds when it's fully loaded.
The Avenger's magazine holds over 1,000 rounds of 30mm ammunition, spit out at 70 rounds per second.
It's effective enough to kill armored vehicles, tanks, armored personnel carriers, all the way down to small, soft point targets.
The gun isn't just powerful, it's precise. 4,000 feet above the ground, the Warthog can strike within 40 feet of its target.
The outer pylons are reserved for lighter ordnance, specifically air-to-air missiles. As you move inboard, we mount sensors, flares, and some rockets out on the outer pylons. As we move in towards the center of the plane, we can carry heavier ordnance, so air-to-surface precision-guided missiles. And the bombs are most commonly loaded on the inboard station. This right here is known as a triple ejector rack. So the TUR can carry 3 bombs, 500-pound each. It can also put rocket pods with 7 rockets each on these stations. So you can picture the variety and number of ordnance that the A-10 can carry into the battlefield environment.
It's not going to win any beauty contests, but for generations of soldiers, the A-10 and its pilots have been a lifesaver.
If I do my job correctly, more American men and women are coming home safely at the end of the day.
In Afghanistan, Zurkowski and his wingman fly fast through the mountains. It takes just minutes to get to the firefight.
When we first arrived, we had other assets on station that were supporting the mission. There was a AC-130, an MC-12, and then there was a B-1 that was above him.
The A-10 soon discovered the trouble isn't just on the ground. It's in the air, too.
There was a pretty good cell or rainstorm that was developing. The enemies tactically used this to their advantage, so they had waited for the weather to roll into the valley before they started to shoot.
As the weather rolls in, coalition planes are forced to fly lower and lower, or risk crashing into a cloud-covered mountain. For the A-10s, flying low is no problem.
We had the capability to work in poor weather. We had the capability to work at low altitude and provide fire support to the guys on the ground when they need it.
But the other planes are designed to fly high and fast. Navigating the rain clouds is too much of a risk.
At that point, there wasn't enough room underneath the weather where they could operate safely. They, one by one, started to check out because they couldn't provide any support.
By now, the A-10 pilots can barely see the ground.
Operating in that rainstorm was very challenging. When it starts raining, you can't see as far in front of you, and your sensors can't see through the weather either.
In order to locate the ground troops, A-10 pilots have to rely on their ground-to-air radios.
So my tools are 3 radios that I have by my left hip here that allow me to talk to and coordinate with pretty much everyone.
A Warthog pilot can tap into 3 different radio networks. The first allows them to speak with troops on the ground. The second network is dedicated to talking to the other aircraft. The A-10's third radio network connects it with a JTAC, or Joint Terminal Air Controller. That's an officer on the ground who oversees the entire offensive operation.
The radios are crucial to the execution of close air support so that we can understand, we can integrate, and we can adjust to dynamic battlefield environments.